कम लोग हैं यार. Yeah. All right, we have about 50 people. How are you all doing? How's the uh, Thursday doing for you? If you can all say a hi or something in the chat, I'll just know that people are there. You can just type hi, hello. You can also tell me where you're all joining from, which location are you based out in?
Hello.
Hey, I see a lot of people. Hello. I see Noida, Hyderabad, Bangalore again. Where are Mumbai people? Where are Delhi people? Hi, Vinod. Hi, Chitra. So, have you all started with the festive season? Have you all planned your leaves? Have you taken your tickets back home? How's the planning going? And also, anybody from Kolkata and all, because I'm here, it's grand this year apparently for the Durga Puja, and people are just talking about it non-stop in my team at least. What's your plan for this festive season? Anybody plan trips or something like that for the holidays that you might have? I don't know how's your company, but
Mysore trip for Dashara is somebody talking about. Nice. It's a beautiful place to be in during Dashara, especially.
Mysore trip. That's great. But I've heard it's very crowded. Very, very crowded during that
There are
time of
140 crore people, my dear Aisha. It is going to be very crowded wherever we go.
I would like to see some faces over here. If you all can turn on the camera, it'll be a little more interactive as well. I need some volunteers for that first.
Kavya is. Hi, Kavya. Good evening. Hi, Naresh.
Sorry, I'm on. Hi. Hi, everyone.
We are not having induction sessions. We are not from your corporate. So please feel relaxed.
I think it's good time to start, but before I start, I just want to talk about Noah's one of our benefits, which is our gym membership offerings. So I'm just gonna post a link for the same. So we are offering some gym membership discounts for you. So in case anybody is interested, they can just click and have your interest form. So we have fraternity, which is like 12 session and unlimited session that you can go and use anywhere near to your home if you're majorly in tier 1 and tier 2 cities, right? So you can just have a look. So I think it's a good time to start. You can ask your colleagues to join in while they are here. We already have around 20 people, right? All right. Thank you everybody for joining today's session on goal-based investing. So we all have goals, probably saving up for the big billion days and buying an iPhone or maybe a car or getting married. These are all goals. Now, this can be short term, long term, or these kind of goals might be there, and all we are always working towards it. So today's in the session, we're gonna talk about the same and how you can train yourself to reach it, right? And before I start, I wanted to introduce Nova. Nova is an employee wellness platform with our core focus centered on health and shopping. We also help organizations improve employee well-being through a variety of wellness programs such as daily fitness, mental health counseling, and more. So today we have Ms. Anusha Rathore with us. Anusha Rathore has a remarkable career spanning over 20 years in banking and mutual fund industry. She has worked with renowned institutions like Citicorp and HDFC Asset Management Company. In 2015, Anusha joined FinSafe, a finance education organization dedicated to equip Indians with strategies to handle their money based on their goals, growth, and salary. So today we'll have Anusha's knowledge given to us, and she's representing FinSafe today. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop down in the chat. We'll take them towards the end. Over to you, Anusha.
Thank you so much, Aisha, and thank you all. Aisha, what struck me is Aisha said, "You big billion days and iPhone." Let me tell you, while aspirational goals all of us have, tell me some of the aspirational goals all of us have, buying the next iPhone 16 or 15, whatever new one is coming in, or going to that exotic locations, because Instagram is filled with those kind of things now that you're tempted to want to go it. Whether it's good or not, it's a different thing, but some goal that we cannot forget. I know I sound old when I say it. One of the goal we can't neglect is retirement. Remember, folks, there is nobody is going to fund you a loan to go on a retirement. Okay, you'll have to back yourself. I know international trip is, so some of them is written. I mean, Aisha has written. Yes, many different goals. All of you, I for because I this is my first program with your team, and I'm happy with Nova Benefits. I'm working on this, so I would request, I'm going to share a link in this chat box, and I'll tell you why this link is going to be useful. Log into this link. I'm going to give you a couple of calculators are there in this link, where you access one, which I'm going to show it to you, is a goal planning calculator. All those exotic dreams that you have, or something which you can't forget, you need to work on it. Click on the link, and use the benefits. We're going to load with a lot of other calculators, videos, and other things also. It's completely complimentary for you for a month, so use this benefit. So let's begin the session. Thank you so much, Aisha, for giving us this opportunity. Let me begin the session now. Just give me a second and tell me whether you can see my screen once my screen is up.
Yes, it's on.
Okay, I think I
Yes.
straight went to the last slide. Let me go to the first slide. All right. Okay, we have 1 hour, and let's make best use of it. Let's see what we can do. This is an investor awareness initiative from the mutual fund, which is HDFC Mutual Fund and Association of Mutual Funds in India. Hopefully, it's you are getting all the investor awareness that you need to get. So, what do you do with your money? It's a right time, because see, I tell you what, I have around 20 plus years of experience. I'm not saying temptation was not there at that time. When I started working, I went by bus, and then I had my kinetic, then I went into a small car, and then big car, and then went on. But I remember my colleagues, we were in the wealth management. Already they had a very nice a Civic. I don't know whether you guys know Civic, very old car, Honda Civic. And I still was in my small Maruti Zen at that time. So I think what do you do with your money is totally with you. Nobody can make the decision. Either you spend, you save, or you invest. I believe in a combination of these three, because you can't put yourself saying in a situation that you go through a diet saying I am just not going to touch a sugar. I remember seeing one of a celebrity saying, what is a diamond ka shape jo hai, oh sweet kabhi nahi khaya hai, he told. The diamond shape was Kaju Katli. It was like a funny thing, that guy, some one of the very big celebrity in India, has never eaten a Kaju Katli. I mean, we Indians, being Indian. So, and he said it's a diamond shaped cake. Okay. So what I'm saying is, we have all of us, we are not in, we are in a business of working. We are not in some of us maybe in the business of modeling and all, but we are in the business of um, employment in a company. So we need to do everything in moderation, and we recommend this particular budgeting rule called 30-30-40. Trust me, folks, if you follow this rule, that is more than enough. Whatever you earn, the salary that gets credited to your account, 30% you spend and do what you want with that. 30% you can use it for EMI, which is your preferably home loan or a car loan, not any other EMI. 40% try and invest it. If you are very young and you don't have the responsibility of EMI, maybe do 40% of 40-50% of spending, 50% of investment. When you are younger, if you are able to invest 50% of your income, trust me, it is going to take you on a very far place. So always save and then spend. Never say spend and then save. It's a it's a recipe for disaster. Always save and then spend. That is why we believe in automation. Automating your investments, automating your any debts that you have, repayment of all these are recommended. Savings is not a very great idea for the fact remains that inflation, we all understand what inflation is. We all understand what inflation, to mehengai is inflation in a simple Hindi term. But mehengai, if you ask me, in the last recent years, the pulses that we eat, the fruits that I buy, I don't think so. Every time I go to a fruit vendor, I spend close to 1,000 rupees sometimes. You know, apples and oranges and whatever that pomegranates, it's itself cost around 500 rupees. Inflation is definitely hitting us. This is something which you are able to understand through retail inflation. Some inflation, such as retirement, can I spend my money, whatever I'm spending today, is that enough? Is the same expense we're going to have after 20, 30 years? I doubt it. Children education. How many of you here have children? Let's see a raise of hand. How many of you who come for this session have children here? Okay, none. I'm okay. Javed, as Naresh is saying, yeah, there are many people coming in. Trust me, folks. You know, there is definitely, either you plan to take care of your children's education or bring them up in a way they understand the cost is definitely high. Even children's marriage that you want to plan for, maybe you will say, let's have a small wedding. They are not ready for it. Inflation is eating up. Foreign education, inflation can be around 10 to 11% to 12%. Indian education, maybe around 7 to 8%. Medical inflation is going up. Cost of travel, everything is going up. If you're just going to keep the money in savings account, your cost of whatever amount you saved, it's going to come down. This is a typical example. Say if you have 30,000 today, after 20 years, that 30,000 expenses is going to be 80,000 rupees with 5% inflation. Imagine this at 6 7%, that's going to be another 30 40,000 rupees, much more. So if you just leave the money in a savings account, say you just keep it in a savings account at 1 lakh, that's going to come down. The value of that is going to come down. So there is no two way about it. You need to aim at double digit return. That is the end of it. You cannot aim at 5 6 7 8% return. If that is what your portfolio going to be, you cannot retire. You need to work for a very long time, or for whatever goals you have to take a loan, or it that is what is the situation going to be. And I mean, it sounds like, you know, why is this reality? But that is the reality. So safeguard against inflation is very important. Start following the 30 30 40 rule, which I told you. Try to save 40% of your take home salary. If you're young and if you don't have that much responsibility, push to at least 50%. And as your responsibility increases, you will realize that you are not able to save. And once you start saving, automate it and invest it. Try to take the benefit of compounding. It's called an eighth wonder of the world. And that can happen only if you stay invested for long term. It cannot happen if you invest for a short term. So, for us to achieve all these things, we recommend something called financial planning in our financial advisory term. Financial planning is a very, very heavy duty term, but let me make it very simple for you. It's basically understanding your current situation. What is your cash flow? How much is your income? How much is your expenses? Where is it going? What are your assets? What are your liabilities? Define your financial goal. Work on your financial goal. Understand your situation, and then ask yourself how much risk I can take for each of my goal. So I'll give you all the ideas, tricks and tips around it. And then you formulate and invest it and review your plan once a year. Way investment should be done is understand your goals, understand the right choices, don't worry about volatility in the market, and that will give you what? Peace of mind. I want you also look at this chart. You know, it's a little dated, but it's a very relevant chart, because people these days, last couple of months, we've had record breaking demat account being opened, new demat account. So, what is my biggest concern about it? Newer guys are talking about saying, let me trade and make money. There's a friend of mine who knows me very well, and he did not take advice from me. He's saying, you know, Anusha, I can give you 20 lakh. मुझे हर महीने 1 लाख कमाना है. I mean, 20 lakhs he's going to give me, and he's saying, I'll make 1 lakh. I said, only Ponzi guy can give you. And he's saying, I will do trading. You just tell me how to do it. All these are recipe for disaster. Look at this example. Do you all know 2008, 2009, what happened? It was a subprime lending crisis. It's a financial crisis in the world, in the US, which translated to across country. If you see, the market crashed at that time. But if what is a good thing is market, it when it fell, it did not fall below the 2000 level. Similarly, when the market crashed again in 2020 because of COVID, it did not crash below the previous fall, previous low. So what does it say? Volatility is there. How do you manage this volatility is in your hand. It doesn't mean that you take undue risk. You have to take a calculated risk. So write down in an Excel sheet, or I'll show you the calculator now. Write down saying what's your short term goal, what's your medium term goals, what your each one of us, it will be different. My son is around 13 year. For me, his education, which is graduation, is going to be next 6 years. That's not a long term goal. That is a short term goal. Accordingly, my retirement, I'm not going to retire in another 15, 20 years. It's a long term goal. So ask yourself what is short term, long term, and medium term to you. Predominantly, if you have to put it under a bracket, short term is when you want your money in next 3, 4 years. Medium term is short term, that is 3, 4 years. Medium term is when you want your money in between 5 to 7 years. Long term is if you can keep the money for more than 7 years. Then you have all these categories. So let me show you this calculator, and that's the complimentary access you all have. I think Akarshan Kumar is realized who is the guy I was talking to. You guys are all watching a lot of you know, channels like me, but I hope you all also read some of financial dailies. Okay, log on to this landing page that I've given you. This is complimentary for all of you. Let me show you the access so that you understand what I'm talking about. Once you log into this portal, you will see we have created this portal just for you folks. There are calculators, there are counseling facility, there are some courses. You can reach out to us if you want a course, and a lot of videos that we have added in the knowledge center. But now I'm looking at calculators. Click on it. Again, we have added old versus new regime. When if you are in a dilemma whether I want to choose the old regime or new regime, there's a calculator here. But today I'm looking at a goal planning calculator. Let me click on it. Say if you want to look at buying a car, let's make it light up, and the car is costing me say 10 lakh rupees. Okay, let me, maybe you're going to take a loan. I'm assuming you're going to save 3 lakh rupees for the car, and you want to buy the car in 3 years. Of course, in 3 years, it's a short-term goal. I don't know whether you will be able to generate 8% return. That's not reasonable. It's not easy and should not be taking risk. You can expect around 5.5% post-tax. When you click on calculate, what do I see? I need to be investing 8,854 rupees just for this goal. And the 3 lakh is going to be 3,47,000 rupees because of inflation, which I have accounted at 5%. This, if I change it to 6%, you will see the inflation estimated value for future is going to increase, and the monthly amount you need to invest increases. This is very important, folks. If you don't work on a calculator, it's like shooting in the dark. You're like mindlessly investing, and that is what major people do it. If I have to tell you, people in their 50s come back in 55 saying, Anusha, I've already done this. What do I do? How do I go about on it? So please work on the calculator. Investing in the right asset mix is very important for long term to create wealth. And look at this. If you see, this is just Sensex returns. If you see for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 25 years, if you see, this is the CAGR return, that is compounded annual growth rate return for the periods that is mentioned, double digit return. So you don't have to expose to completely into one asset class, but these, I'm not going to say 15-20% is attainable very easily. 12% you can easily look at in the long term. What are the options you have? You can look at gold, which is a traditional investment. stocks, where you buy stocks, bonds, which is you buy through, for example, if I have to give you example of a bond, through a Bajaj Finance, for example, it's a corporate bond. It's a fixed deposit, but not from a bank. It's a corporate fixed deposit, or a bond issued by a company who is raising money in the market by the retail. I'll explain to you. Bank deposit, fixed deposit, insurance policy, endowment, money back. Trust me, this is the worst among all of them. The ones who is making money out of this insurance is the insurance agent and the banker. I am an ex-banker, I can tell you. It's the highest commission earned is the insurance sales. And then your all-time favorite property where you buy real estate, and then comes the mutual fund. Asset allocation is the right. You cannot put in one asset class. It's like a nice thali. I've shown you a vegetarian thali because I'm in Dashara today. Of course, you can add now non-veg to it. But having the right protein, there is no protein. Maybe chana is protein in it. But you can add the right combination of pulses, protein, carb, and everything. Fiber is the balanced, is what you need in your food also. Similarly, you need in your investments. So asset allocation is based on your financial plan, how your short term or long term. So for example, property, gold, I do not consider it art collection. Please don't ever do it. It's a worst form. Or equity shares, stocks are, which will give you growth, and it will for over a long time, but stable it, not a very high return. Stocks maybe. Similarly, generate income, slow growth, I would say bonds, PPF, bank deposit, NAC, and all those. Mutual fund gives you both the asset, both the rights. So let's now talk about the section. I'm going to divide it into three aspects. Always when I'm talking about it, please keep in mind that I'm talking from the goals perspective. I'm not talking only from the products perspective. So keep in your mind what I'm saying, which is short term, which is medium term, long term. Again, short term is if you want your money in next 3-4 years is short term. If you want your money between 5 to 7 years is medium term. If you want your money after 7 years is long term. So I'm going to talk about short term now in the no risk or low risk product. I won't call it no risk. Everything has a risk, low risk product. I would say do not rack your brain. It's the right time for you to block your money in a fixed deposit for next 3-4 years, because fixed deposit rates can come down in the near future because it's already at the all-time high. I don't think so. From here, you may not see a huge upwards in a fixed deposit rate. It might come down and not. So for 3-4 years, don't take risk. Put it in a money in your fixed deposit. The ones who are going to promise you with unreasonable return is not a very guaranteed option. Don't look at it. What I don't recommend at all in the 3-4 year period is these risky products, P2P lending. I don't know whether you heard of it, peer-to-peer lending. So many platforms have come. What does peer-to-peer lending means? You're borrowing money, I'm lending money. Say for example, in a platform, individual. Instead of me borrowing money from a bank, I go to a platform and borrow money there. Why? Ask yourself, why am I individual coming to a platform to borrow at 18-20% when a bank is giving a 10-12%? The reason is because my credit score must be so bad, I'm not getting it from a bank or an NBFC. So the risk of losing your money is super duper high in peer-to-peer lending. Please don't take this risk. Not worth it. The other investments which is mushroomed a lot is these non-convertible debentures and bond in a retail platform. I don't want to name any platforms here, but they're saying they will give you a 10% return, 9% return in 18 months period. Now the risk here is if that company defaults, you will not get your principal back. There is I don't know whether you all know, which happened few years ago, DHFL, where they defaulted. People who have directly put the money in that, not through mutual fund, but directly investors who put it, still haven't got their complete money. I'm talking about this was highest rated bond, AAA rated bond. The bonds are rated as with AAA being highest, A minus, B plus being the lowest. Now, if they're AAA, doesn't mean that they cannot become a negative rating. If they default, if they have cash pressures, they can lose it. So in the short term, in just stick with fixed deposit. Don't think too much. In the medium term, you have post office saving schemes like National Savings Certificate, Kisan Vikas Patra, all those things are there. These PO schemes are no risk, backed by the government of India. Returns are also ठीक for 5 years. But the problem here is very important. See this, what I'm saying, it is tax as per slab. If you feel that you're going to be at the lowest bracket, like 10% or no tax bracket, this is for you. Moment you are at 20-30% tax bracket, it is not for you. Stay away, because net of taxes, it's going to be around 5.5%. It's still as bad as a bank deposit, where I'm recommending bank deposit only for the short term. There are no products available with great taxation in the short term. So post office savings scheme are not bad, but if you are in a low tax bracket, okay. In the long term, which is for 7+ years, unfortunately there is not less risk, or no risk products are not there, but there are products such as for 15 years you can put your money in public provident fund. The good thing about it is you can put as low as 500 rupees per annum, 15-year lock-in, and it is tax free in your hand. So that's a game changer. When you withdraw the money, it is tax free, and the compounded benefit kicks in. With regards to PF, all of you have provident fund, no brainers about it. What you can do is, if you want to add more into your retirement corpus with no risk, remember the word asset allocation. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. So if you don't want to take risk, you can look at voluntary provident fund also as an option. You have to reach your existing corporate, tell them that I want to start VPF from my salary. They will debit from your gross salary, from your CTC, and pay the money to the PF account every month. The money goes into the PF account, earns the PF interest at 8.15%, and when you withdraw the money, it is tax free in your hand. But within 5 years, if you withdraw within 1% tax, but at the time of retirement, it is tax free. So again, with low risk, bank deposit, short term, medium term, post office savings schemes are fine. But if you are in a low tax bracket, otherwise I don't recommend it. For long periods, you have PPF. You can use it for your sons or daughters' education, or tie it up to the marriage, PPF. And your retirement, PF and your EPF is a good option. Now comes the wealth building or wealth creation. You can't keep, clearly the inflation is a silent killer, and that's going to eat up the money. You, if you just saw the example I showed you on a goal planning, you realize that the kind of amount that you need to invest will increase if you don't take sufficient risk, and that is when the risk taking requirement comes in. Again, in this market linked, when I say market linked, that means it's linked to a particular market. Like cryptocurrency is linked to cryptocurrency market, NPS is linked to stocks and bonds, equity stocks, debt funds, debt market, these are linked to those particular market. So again, let's break it into three goals: short term, medium term, long term. In the short term, like you want your money to, you want to take a little risk, but I don't want to keep my money in fixed deposit, what do I do? You could look at something called debt funds. Now, what are debt funds? Debt funds are from mutual funds, where the amount, if you choose debt funds, the amount is invested in the bonds. Like, instead of fixed deposit, what are bonds? Bonds are typically, for example, if a company wants to raise funds, they will issue these bonds where they are borrowing from you and me. We are lending the money to them, and they have a particular rating attached to these bonds, rated by rating agencies, and timely payments are given to you, or as per the maturity, it's given to you. Now, why do I recommend? I just told you previously, bonds I don't recommend, like covered bonds or non-convertible debentures. And why am I recommending here? I recommend here is because you're not buying one bond directly, you're buying a group of bonds. But debt funds also carry interest rate risk and credit risk. Hence, if you want to invest in a debt fund, there is a debt fund category for less than 3 years called ultra short duration debt funds. You can aim to get a little better return than fixed deposit, but I would say if you don't understand it, don't do it. But ultra short duration debt funds is a good option. For more than 3 years to 5 years, another short period, you can choose this fund called short duration debt funds. The option is available for you. With regards to um, medium term, what do I do? Now, in this mutual fund, there's equity, there's something called balanced hybrid fund. That is an option I can tell you for a medium term. If you are ready, if you want, if you can take high risk, I would say balanced hybrid fund is a better option. The rest, whatever you see here, NPS, equity, stocks, baskets, all of them are for long term. And I do not recommend cryptocurrency because they are not regulated in India. Please don't look at it. If once the regulation is not there, it does not make sense. Now let's look at direct stocks. I'm sure some of you are already doing. How many of you are investing in direct stocks? Okay, Naresh is saying yes. Okay, great. Nice to hear that. So I'm sure you're referring to something while investing. You can feel free to unmute and ask, please. Talk, please.
No, in fact, I'm investing in each and everything, including crypto.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But it's not
I,
like that. I always refer the company websites, their last 5 years, 10 years trend, their profit, their CAGR.
Balance sheets.
You should know the balance sheets absolutely before investing. And what is
absolutely, sir.
and you
I
should
would
be
want to.
you should have that patience also. You should market can be volatile, right? You should hold your patience, keeping the long run in mind and the purpose you are investing in that particular stock.
Thank you so much for saying this. Please don't do this as a gamble. Just because somebody is telling, buy this stock, don't do it. It is going to be super duper risky. I would suggest you to not do this. Stick to, if you're doing stocks like sir discussed, somebody discussed here, ensure that you do the research about these companies. You should never invest in stocks on a borrowed knowledge. It will be very, because most of these advisors who are talking about any stocks, they will give you an entry point, nobody will give you an exit point. And today, fortunately, you are in a high, you are in a time where everything is, whatever you touch is turning gold. We have seen 2 decades of markets where things can be lull, where the companies, for example, when 2000, when the year, when, I remember this, Infosys were a small cap company. Of course, it's a large size company today. There were so many small size company at that time, which is not seen the day of light today. For example, do you know Satyam Computers, which definitely didn't see a light of day? The Kingfisher, which is known. I'm just talking about. So be very careful. If you're doing investing in stocks, whoever is doing, please dedicate the time and effort. Don't do on borrowed knowledge. If somebody is giving you a stock tip, don't invest it. Research about the company. You can go to simple money control. You don't even need a paid version. You can go down, put the script name, you will get it. But I would say just be very careful before, and don't get too greedy. When everybody is greedy, you have to be careful. That's about stock for me. I would not put my money. And I, second thing is, please be very wary of small case investments and stock basket. Nothing but they're creating a theme. Who are these people who are creating a theme? They are not fund managers. They are broking houses, SEBI registered advisors who are creating this theme and giving it to you. Please be very careful when you're doing that. That's equally risky. If you want to do stock investing, don't do more than 10% of your portfolio, and diversify in large and mid size when you're investing. If you're looking at small cap and micro cap in stocks, be very careful. That's my warning to you. Do not invest it for retirement. Now, again, like I said, short term, long term. I said there are long term options are there: equity mutual fund and NPS stocks. These are the three options. Stocks, not more than 10%, but you should not have the knowledge. NPS and equity mutual fund are a good bet for long term. Why NPS? Because the NPS is a low cost product. Look at this, how NPS works. There is an auto choice option and there is an active choice option. From FinSafe, we recommend active choice because you're investing in maximum, you can invest 75% in equity. So you have 20 years for retirement. There's no brainer. You need to have that much exposure to equity for you to get the double digit return. Remember the double digit return I was talking about. So active choice is a great option. You can go up to 75% in equity. After you turn 50, I think it reduces slightly and comes down, but otherwise it's a good exposure. If you don't want to do that, say I want equity exposure but I don't want so much, you can look at something called auto choice and choose any of the cycle: aggressive, moderate, conservative. In the aggressive cycle, like the it's called aggressive, and that's why 75% it goes into equity, but only till 35 age. After 35, after you are turned 35, from 36, every year you are older, 1 year older, 2% will come down from equity, move to bond. Now, that is why E is equity, C is corporate bond, G is government bond. I'm just saying that if you don't know how to do it, auto choice is aggressive option is a good option. But remember, at the age of 50, only 15 to 20%, not even that you will have exposure to equity in auto choice, aggressive. But in the active choice, you have an option to choose the way you want. Minimum is 1000 rupees, locked till the age of 60. At 60, 60% you can withdraw, 40% you have to buy a pension plan. You're getting tax benefit under new regime. If at all, if your company has corporate NPS under section 80 CCD2, I wouldn't know, you will have to cross check. Otherwise, you get under the old regime, you get the tax benefit. While taxation is not my discussion today, all I'm trying to tell you is NPS is not a bad option. It's a low cost product, not many you need to worry. The other option I recommend, and I totally subscribe to it, is mutual fund, because like NPS also works like a mutual fund. They have a separate fund manager. Mutual fund is a dedicated job of them is to invest in stocks and bonds. And there has, like, NPS has a limitation of looking at only large cap companies there. And while the mutual fund are there in the market for so long, and they can invest in large, mid and small size companies, it's a pool in it's. And why do we recommend mutual fund for aggressive investment is it's a pooled investment by many people are investing in multiple stocks. It helps you generate income. So, and it is low cost. NPS is the lowest cost, then comes mutual fund, and it is regulated by SEBI. Regulation is very important, and professionally management. You can put small amount of 1000 rupees for that matter. Like I said, debt funds is for short term. Liquid funds are very, very short term. You can keep it for even 1 month to 2 months. Debt funds is for 3-4 years. Ultra short duration debt funds and low duration debt, short duration debt funds. Hybrid funds, which I told you, give you moderate investment, which invest in stocks and bonds for 5 to 7 years. Equity funds for more than 7 years. This is a trade off you get. Risk is higher in equity, moderate risk in a hybrid, low risk in debt, very, very low risk in the liquid, but returns are equally different. In the equity funds, these four, five, six categories that I'm presenting to you is more than good enough. Or even from that perspective, I would say a flexi cap fund, a mid cap fund, and a small cap fund is good enough in your portfolio. Flexi cap means it invests in large, mid, and small size company. For example, an Infosys is a large size. A mid size could be Mindtree, or Mindtree is no more. It's a LIT, LTI, so it's of course not. Sonata Software could be a mid cap, and a small size company, a very small company, maybe Persistent or something like that. And a mid cap company is mid size company. The good thing is they'll invest in any sector where they see the benefit of return. So if you are looking at, while you can look at multi-cap where equal percentage in equity happens each cap, 35, 35, 35. Large cap is only large cap companies. Large and mid is 35%, 35% in large and mid. Our suggestion is stick to three companies: flexi cap category, mid cap and small cap. Keep in mind, small cap should be for more than 15 years. This is for 7+ years. If you have investment for 5 to 7 years, I told you post office saving schemes are not a great idea because of the taxation. Hence, hybrid fund which invests in both an equity and debt or bond is a good option. Where do I recommend? There are 7 categories. Look at aggressive hybrid fund where 60 to 80% goes in equity, 20 to 35% goes in debt. Or you can also look at this category called dynamic asset allocation, balanced advantage fund, where They dynamically manage between debt and equity based on the market the fund managers decide. The rest of them are fine. These two are a good category for 5 to 7 years if you are looking at aiming to get 2-digit return. These solution oriented schemes are also getting popular. So let me talk about it. One is the retirement funds. Instead of you choosing a ULIP or an endowment insurance policy, you can choose a retirement fund from mutual fund. They are tilted towards a hybrid category. They invest in both bonds and stocks. Same thing, instead of a child plan, you can look at child funds, again tilted towards hybrid funds. 10-12% you can aim looking at these funds for 5 to 7 year duration. You can invest for long period. The other category which we highly recommend is index or ETFs. Very, very popular now. They also invest in stocks and bonds. But what is the difference? This is the low cost, lower than the funds categories which I told you, because these are called as passive funds. They replicate an index. So if you're investing in index Nifty 50, today if you see Nifty is at 19,000 plus, those are large top 50 companies, right? You can invest in 50 stocks directly through index Nifty 50. They replicate the index and try to give you return in line with the index. If you're not wanting to spend time on research, if you can invest for long term, index Nifty 50 in a large cap is a great investment for all of you. You can also look at exchange traded funds. The only reason I would tilt towards index fund over ETFs is because you don't need a demat account, and you can simply go to CAMS or Carvi FinTech or MF Utility and directly buy it. You don't need a third party advisor to tell you which one to buy. You don't need demat account. ETFs, you need a demat account. And second, ETFs, you can invest in index, you can buy commodity, you can buy basket of assets through ETFs. You can choose it. Again, low cost. These are called as passive funds. ETFs and index are called as passive funds for you. So how do I do investment in all these? If you ask me, the one of the way I was able to save money and I was able to do it well by starting my investment. I think 2006 is what I started investing aggressively. And here I am. I quit my high paying job to start do education only because I'm financially able to manage it. SIP is a game changer. Why? Because we salaried people get salary every month. We know our cash flows. Invest every month, deposit in the account, get out of the account, invest in those flexi cap, mid cap, whatever categories, right? Small investment, regular, disciplined. You're not worried whether market's going to fall down, go up. All those worry is not there. I'm just showing you a small example at 8% return. I'm not even looking at 10-12%, guys. There is a starting age, definitely is a vital important. You start early. The amount you can create is huge while you start late. Don't get disheartened if you're in your 40s or 50s. Doesn't matter. You can pump in more money by investing for a long term. 10-12% aiming return is not a bad number. I wanted to show you this SIP volatility chart. And what is a great thing is, if you see after 7 years, it has never given a single digit return. It's given double digit return. But in the short term, it is equally volatile. So mutual fund, equity or balanced hybrid fund is not for short term. And as an option for all of you, you come for this session. If you want help, you can refer to some of the website. Finsafe.in is our company. We just list down some schemes just for you to get some idea. You can check it out. Money Control 30, you can check it out. Morning Star is a global research. You can check it out. Mint is a newspaper. All these places do not have vested interest. That's why I'm putting out this. You can take a screenshot if you want to. You can check it out. So of course, this trade-off, I spoke about it. We can open for questions, but before that, I just want you to look at some of the important things before you fill any form. For that matter, if you're looking at buying a stock through an IPO, read the red herring prospectus, read the company balance sheet, read about them, go into the company balance sheet directly and understand it. Similarly, if you're buying through mutual fund, if scheme information memorandum and all these things are very long, look at a KIM, key information memorandum. It's a concise version, will give you all the information there. A fact sheet can tell you what are the companies that they have invested. And never do stock purchases by looking at these companies. It's dangerous, but it gives you an understanding saying where they invested, who's the fund managers, what the return. It's issued every month. It's online. You don't even have to subscribe to it. And if you still doubt about the risk, look at the riskometer. It's available on all the fact sheet. All these are there. And do not forget to nominate. It's a big problem I see. People are not nominating properly. Nomination is important. Try to nominate your legal heir over third party. I had a story that I had heard about it in, and somebody whom I know in COVID, they nominated someone who's not a third party because this man was so busy. Some third party came and signed it. I think his office boy or somebody has filled the form and given, and that guy withdrew the money and took away. This is not from mutual fund, but this happened in the bank. This was of a fixed deposit, and the mother and the child, who was the legal heir, had to fight to get the money back. I'm not sure whether they got the money back. So please be careful. Nomination is important. So these are just relative information. The last but not the least, I want to tell you about traditional investments like insurance, gold, and real estate. Insurance, always keep this asset class to cover the risk of your life. Do not use this as investment product. It's a very, very bad idea because the returns are around 5 to 6% for 15-20 years. If that's what you want to aim, you can keep money in a fixed deposit or keep all your money in PPF and BPF. Real estate as a product has given a very subdued return. It's always not given a, if you calculate the trade-off between loan taking, it's a very long session I had to work on. Of course, we can plan later. But trade-off between loan you take and rent you get from it, it's not a great option again. Gold in the other aspect, there's an option to look at gold exchange traded funds, ETFs. Its price movement is as per the domestic price gold. Again, a great option. If you don't want to rack your brain, mind about it, you have an ETF, you can demat account, invest in gold ETF. If you don't have one, go to mutual fund company and invest in the gold ETF options. You can invest, or you could also look at something called sovereign gold bond. RBI comes with a tranche every 6 months, but it is as per the gold price. And we are expecting gold price to move up with the way the geopolitical issues around us. So if you have a demat account, you can check for old SGBs which are getting traded there, and you can buy from them if you're getting a good number, or you can buy from the new SGB. Even without demat account, you can buy. It's by the RBI, issued by the government, issued by the RBI for the government of India. Physical gold, I know Diwali is coming. I don't want to disappoint ladies here. Buy the jewelry to wear it. If you really want as an investment, don't go beyond 10% in gold. Gold ETF or a sovereign gold bond is a good option. And SG and real estate, I already told you, has not been a great investment option. Not to stay there. It's like gold, when you wear it, you wear it. It's for consumption. Real estate is for consumption and not a great asset to earn return. Diversification is a key. Asset allocation is the key. Think about what are the asset class you want to do, how you want to diversify in the asset class. Like I said, mutual fund, flexi cap, index, mid cap, and small cap. Similarly, gold, ETF, sub, and jewelry. Asset allocation, diversification. What you're going to do is, after this session, we'll share a handbook with you. You can check out this product allocator, and as per the risk, we recommend the kind of asset class. We don't recommend schemes. We don't recommend. You can choose that, work on the goal planning calculator, and go ahead, invest, start investing. This should not stop you from investment. So Shweta, I hope you added the feedback form here. Shweta, are you there? Hello?
Hello.
Can you share the feedback form, Shweta?
Yes, ma'am, I shared it.
Request all of you, take a minute and share your feedback. It's very important for us. I don't see the form anywhere, Shweta. That's why I'm saying.
I mentioned, please do share feedback.
It is popped up.
It's
Okay.
displaying.
Okay. Request you to, we also put a feedback form here. Do kindly take a minute and take a feedback from our end also while you are sharing the net promoter score. But I would request you to also take a minute and share the feedback. And I hope you all have the access to the landing page for our financial wellness portal. It's completely complimentary for you for a month, so do use it. We've added buy now versus now rent calculator, the doubt if you have in your mind, all others are there, so better look at it. So let me look at some questions. Can I go ahead look at the questions, Aisha?
Yeah. Do you want me to take it up or do you want to like answer it?
I can look at it, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Are there any short term high gain and low risk investment? I said, Anush, the short term high gain low risk is a very dangerous combination. There isn't any. Investing in a gold using phone pay, what do you say about this? Do not look at gold buying through a digital platform, because you're losing out money on GST on every purchase on sale and the quality is not great, so don't look at it. Please fix your entry before, yeah, correct, fix your entry before you exit before you entry is a good option. Question around short term parking of funds. 1 year liquid fund mutual funds and the likes have 6 to 8% and have some volatility. FTs are upwards 8 to 8.5 with the volatility. Why would someone want to invest in liquid MFs? Are there any investment which can give 10% with a very... Unfortunately, Abhishek, there are no, I don't know. There are times when the bond, I've seen debt funds have given 8 to 10% return or beyond fixed deposit. That is a risk that you have to take while investing, not liquid funds, but I would say a short duration debt funds or a low duration debt funds can give you. But again, that's a risk you have to take. You may get it, you may not get it. But why people were looking at debt funds over fixed deposit was before 1st of April 2023, there was a big difference between the taxation between these. Now it's a similar. The taxation on a debt funds were much lower than a fixed deposit. Fixed deposit is always taxed as per slab. So hence that was the reason, Abhishek, it is so. That is why. But slowly, yes, unfortunately, that is being removed. But the benefit of a debt funds is you can exit without an exit load. There is fixed deposit. If you prematurely exit, there is a 1% load. For how many years we can prefer Nifty 50 index fund? I would say minimum 7 years. You can. I have a Nifty fund for the last 15 years now. I'm not withdrawn it, so you can keep it, and you don't need to worry. You don't need to track. You don't need to worry whether the fund is underperforming. You can just stay invested as per goal. Which is lower on cost, index or ETF? Both are similar, Uday. I would say ETF and index are similar. ETF might be a little lower than index also, but I would use ETF when you're using for trading purposes or when you don't know your exits so very well. Index is what I would recommend for long-term investment. How to access X balance sheet, company's balance sheet before investing in a particular, like a long discussion here. I don't know whether I can do that right now. We can try doing a session around it, but not right now. May we have the slide available along with suggested recommendation in each of the slide? I'm not clear about your question, Shashank. If you can clarify what you want, maybe we'll try answering. Where we can buy the gold bonds. If you have a demat account, you can, whenever the RBI is coming out of the tranche, you can buy it. When there is you can, if you have a demat account, you can also go online in the secondary market, like you buy a stock, you can check for old SGBs and see if it's better than the current rate and buy it there. Any suggestions for best places to invest across suggested category? For mutual funds, if you know which fund to buy, stick with MF Central because, or MF Utility, because this is a unpaid, it's a direct platform. It is started by the mutual fund community and one is restarted by the registrars. So there is no brokerage there. You can buy that. For SGB, if you have a demat account. For FDs, banks, debt funds, mutual funds, I gave you the options. Shares and stocks, it is on demat again. Any suggestions for SIP? I gave you the list where you can choose from. You can choose from. Have a meeting in next 5 minutes. Great. I hope you all made use of were you able to access the portal which I have given you, sir, ma'am? I hope it is you're able to access the calculator. I will show you again if you want to. How safe is it to use the available applications like Grow or Zerodha for mutual funds in companies to comparison to banks? So I'll tell you, Utsav, because the great thing about the Zerodha or Grow is these are discount broking platforms. So the cost of them is very low. Okay, especially for stocks if you want to hold. If you know how to, if you have analyzed the stocks and you are you are the one who's buying without any assistance, then these platforms are, there is no worry about safety. I can tell you that. They might charge you higher later, but now they may not charge. They're not charging. Banks have traditionally bank brokings are what do you say, charge a little higher, but they might give you recommendation. If you want recommendation, you can choose it. For mutual funds, why you want to, even if you know where you're buying, if you want ease, Zerodha, Grow and all those you can look at. Otherwise, why don't you look at MF Utility? It's zero cost in that. Our Credmint 12% club safe for investment. They provide more interest. Tell me, you ask yourself this question, sir. If somebody is giving you a 9%, 12% return, versus bank giving you 8% return, 7.5%, where is the safety? Absolutely no safe. If you're lucky, you will get your money back. If the things go bad, you may not get your money back. So it's about the luck that we run. I mentioned, do not look at digital platform for SIP. Invoice discounting is another thing which is not regulated well. And two, if the delay in payment happens for the invoice, you will be affected. See, the reason I'm not saying people have not made money in the short term here and there, but when people lose money, they lose money in a big way. So just be mindful about it. Do you have a template for goal based investing? Abhishek, did you see the goal planner that I showed you? I'm not sure whether you saw it. It is there. There is a goal planner which I showed you. Maybe I'll take you through again. You could look at that. Any specific fund investing in international market? I can't suggest you an international market at all, Naresh. It is much more riskier than, but for diversification, sake of diversification, why do you want to do it? We still have a great potential in our country, is what I would say. But otherwise, if you want to do it, there are international funds. There are through mutual funds, fund of funds are available. You can invest through one of them. It's available for you to look at.
Actually, I was checking. There is some Mirai fund which invests in the international market. That's why I'm asking specifically.
I can't suggest you the name of the fund here.
No,
You
I'm
can,
not saying because I've seen only one or two funds.
no, there are many, sir. There are many who are investing in international market. But depends on, see, I'll tell you what, the current situation internationally, if you ask me, do you really want a global exposure? Other than US, I would not want to put my money anywhere, even if I want to try it out. India is much a better bet than that. So I don't want to suggest here, but be very careful. International funds, if you really want to look at, maybe you could look at some of the US based funds available through these mutual funds. I'll just show you. Somebody was asking about goal based tracking. See, I don't have a goal based tracker, but what I'm going to show you here is why it is important to do goal based investing. So this is the portal which we gave you access. Again, I'll put it on the chat here. If you want to, you can access it. And if you click on this calculator, there is goal planning. This is what I would recommend. There are so many goals. Put down each of the goal and put it in an Excel file. Copy paste in an Excel file saying, okay, this is how much I need to invest. You will be shocked what we earn and what we save and what we have to invest. There will be a huge gap. To bridge the gap, first of all this big billion days and everything, we have to shut. We have to delete all the apps from the phone. And second, you will have to look at how you're going to start investing it. So this is something we recommend. Somebody is asking me, could you share resources on email? I don't have any email access with me of yours. We will give it to Aisha to the Nova Benefits team, and she will share it with all of you. So Aisha, over to you. I think I've taken up all the questions.
Yes, great. Thank you so much, Anusha, for doing that. It was an amazing session, and I think we are at a good stage where we understand goals and how we can, plan for it as well. Thank you so much for doing the session with us. It was great and it was very insightful as well. And thank you so much for everybody who has joined the session. And we look forward to more such session and have a great weekend. Again, thank you again, Anusha, for
Thank
doing the
you.
session.
Wish you all the best. Hopefully, we will meet again with another interesting topic in the coming months. And till then, don't procrastinate. Look at the goal planning calculator, arrive at the goals, and start investing. Thank you so much, Aisha, for inviting us. Wish you all a very great evening. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.